Hello, team. It's Miss Williams, and today I will be sharing the importance of building strong school family partnerships and how meaningful family engagement contributes to student success. So, as our school lead, special education teacher, and PBIS coach, I believe that family engagement is one of the most important responsibilities of educational leaders. So, throughout this presentation, I will discuss the benefits of family engagement, common barriers to family engagement, effective strategies to improve family engagement, and how leaders can create authentic partnerships that improve student outcomes for all students. So, let's begin. Let's first take the time to review our learning targets for this conversation. So, by the end of this presentation, listeners should be able to explain why family engagement is essential to student achievement, be able to identify barriers that limit family participation in schools, also be able to describe cultural responsive strategies for building authentic partnerships, and be able to apply leadership practices that strengthen relationship between the schools and our families. So, why family engagement matters? Research consistently demonstrates that family engagement has a significant impact on student achievement, which we all strive for. When schools and families work together, students experience high academic performances. We see more students in their seats every day. The behavior that we see in our school climate and culture gets better, and they come to school with greater confidence. Family engagement also contributes to stronger performance on state assessment. And as we know, when we look at our CCRPI scores, we're looking for higher performance, higher student growth and achievement. So rather than us viewing families as visitors that we allow to come in our schools, we should recognize them as partners in the educational process. Every interaction with families provide us with the opportunity to build trust from both perspectives, strengthen the communication line, and create a shared commitment to student success. How do we benefit from our school being heavily involved in family engagement? Well, the benefits of family engagement go beyond individual students. Students become more motivated to learn. They develop stronger social and emotional learning skills and more likely to meet academic expectations that we have. So, schools also benefit through improved school climate, stronger relationships with the families, increased community support, and greater trust between educators and stakeholders. So, as future leaders, we must understand and recognize that family engagement is not simply another initiative to where we are hosting events at our school or we are inviting them in to get feedback and not necessarily using that feedback to improve our school. So, it is critical that for us to create a positive school culture where everyone works together, we must first be able to positively invite families into the learning environment. So, what keeps us from being successful at this? So, a lot of times we know that most families want to support their students' education, but many families experience so many barriers that hinder them from participating. And some of these barriers include their work schedules, not being able to get transportation to and from the school when needed, our ELL students with their language differences, limited access to technologies, poverty, and previous negative experiences with schools. So this is one where we often forget that sometimes, our parents do not want to engage with us because they have had negative experiences themselves. And that is something that we must empathize with. So effective leaders should make sure that they avoid making these assumptions about families. And so instead, we want to make sure that we seek to understand their unique circumstances and that we provide opportunities to engage more accessibly to all families. So, strategies for increasing family engagement. So, we can focus on increasing our family engagement by implementing intentional strategies that removes these barriers and encourage participation. So as examples include us offering flexible conference times. We can provide virtual meeting options, using translators, services that are provided from the district, hosting family workshops to get them more inclined to what we are expecting their students to learn each day. And most importantly, just having that two-way line of open communication. So, culturally responsive family engagement. Culturally responsive family engagement recognizes and also values that we have diverse backgrounds, culture, and experiences with our families. Instead of expecting families to adapt to what our school policy or practices include, it's important that we strive first to understand the families that our school holds, their perspectives, um, on our school practices as well, and how we can incorporate their perspectives on school improvement. So with our authentic partnerships, we got to make sure that we are respectful to our families, that we show empathy to our families, and most importantly, that we allow opportunities for collaboration. So we want to make sure that we are creating an environment to where they are welcome to come in, where they feel valued, they feel heard, and also respected, regardless of their language barriers, their culture backgrounds, and their family structure. So, as the lead special education teacher here at our school, I did want to focus on family partnerships with special education. And with that being said, it's essential that family members of the IEP team are making those efforts to participate with the school, and also the school participating with the parent or guardian. So that is a vital, critical role for student success. Parents provide valuable information about their child's strengths, needs, and interests, and learning preferences. And so, throughout my experience, I've learned that the strongest educational outcomes occur when educators and families communicate consistently and work together towards shared goals. So, action steps for teachers. So, we know that school leaders establish the vision for family engagement, and teachers are individuals who build relationship with families on a daily basis. And every interaction that occurs matters and contributes to the overall school culture. There are several practical actions that teachers can take to strengthen family partnerships. So, first, it's essential that regular positive phone calls or encouraging messages that celebrate students' assessments are being held. Um, but also being able to contact families when concerns arise. So that is where the strong family school relationships come into play there. Secondly, making sure that there's open line of communication, of listening to families and their perspectives, and making sure we respond respectfully to the questions and concerns that they have when they arise. Also, we can invite families to participate in their child's learning by sharing the resources, providing updates on activities and projects, encourage family involvement to the school events that we have, and making sure that we provide every opportunity to our families to participate in the educational process with their students or students as possible. Last but not least, it's important that we approach every family again with that empathy, respect, and belief that all families want the best for their children, and not assuming that they do not want to participate in the learning process. And being aware of the barriers that each one of our families may face. So, key takeaways from my presentation as we close: family engagement is one of the strongest predictors of student success. And so, effective partnership requires trust, communication, cultural responsiveness, and a commitment to removing those barriers that limit participation. Educational leaders set the tone for these partnerships by creating systems that welcome families, but also encourage collaboration and promote shared responsibility for student learning and student achievement. And when schools and families work together, students are given the greatest opportunities to succeed academically, socially, and emotionally, focusing on the whole child. And so that concludes the presentation on family engagement and how we as Heritage Elementary staff can do a better job at including our families. Thank you for your time.